Earlier today, Tim Walz was doing a TV radio interview, and he was asked about what should happen in solving the Israel-Gaza conflict. And of course, in his response, he made no mention of bringing home American hostages. There was no reference to Hamas. But we're not surprised, are we? In life, when you know what is right, you don't need the advice of polls or political consultants or pundits. Oftentimes, you don't even need a lot of new info in order to make your decision. You just do what in your gut you know to be right. You let that guide you. You can make quick decisions, and you can be a better leader. Kamala Harris right now doesn't know who she is, who she wants to be, what she wants to be. And you can't trust somebody like that with the presidency because you know they're unable to identify what America is and what America should be. We've seen it play out in so many different ways. I'm reminded just a few weeks ago as Kamala Harris had an important decision to make as to who should be her running mate. Ultimately, at the end of the day, one of her top finalists, the governor of Pennsylvania, wasn't chosen. The biggest flaw in Kamala's political calculation is that he was Jewish. Despite Josh Shapiro doing everything in his power to un-Jewish himself, to try to thrust himself higher into contention. When the announcement was being made in Philadelphia of Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, a speech was given by Josh Shapiro, by Tim Walz, by Kamala Harris. There was no reference to Israel. There was no reference to combating anti-Semitism. And just a couple days later, I was on CNN, and I was doing a hit. It was one of those 5-on-1 hours, and I was happy to do it, and I had the opportunity to ask a question of a former Senate Democrat who's Jewish. Why is that? Why did they make no reference? After fumbling a little bit to try to figure out what his right answer would be, he said that he thinks it's because it would have been divisive. It's not divisive for us. It's not divisive for us who know right from wrong. And you don't need the advice of some political consultant to tell all three of you when you're out there, avoid at all costs because of some domestic political consideration of trying to win Michigan and to woo over 100,000 uncommitted votes. You just lead in doing what's right. And the Democrats have shown us who they are, even if they don't know at this moment who they are or what they want to be. We have a call that we are making here for the final 60 days of this campaign to American Jews, not just Jewish Democrats, to vote for Donald Trump to be our next president, to elect a Republican United States Senate majority, and to expand the House Republican majority. It's a call. I guess I'll tap into the words of Kamala Harris. We believe that Jewish Democratic voters should be unburdened by what has been. And when we say that, we're not calling on them to un-Jewish themselves. We're calling on them to do what is right for our nation, putting country over party, putting American safety over party, putting our Jewish college students over party. What is right for America and our future leads us to call on them to do what we know 4 more years of a Trump presidency can deliver the U.S.-Israel alliance, what it can deliver to the need to combat anti-Semitism. We've seen what Democrats would do with this power. We've seen what President Trump would do with this power. The case has been made. The choice is clear for the American public in this moment of what to do. On the way out the door in the Obama administration, after getting an Iran nuclear deal signed and trying to get UN Security Resolution 2334 through the UN Security Council to essentially seek to ethnically cleanse Judea and Samaria. On their way out, John Kerry lecturing Bibi in a nearly 90-minute speech in Europe for no reason when a new administration was picked. And then as soon as they come back, the Biden administration puts Rob Malley as the special envoy to Iran of all choices. You try to re-enter the Iran nuclear deal. On September 11th of 2023, just 2-3 weeks before October 7th, the Biden administration released billions of dollars to Iran. And that is not a coincidence that just 2 or 3 weeks later, we see all of these Israelis and Americans attacked, executed, and held hostage. We put this at the feet of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Harris wants to say she's the last person in the room. We've heard in remarks about the fatally flawed withdrawal that turned 13 Blue Star families into Gold Star families. We just heard great remarks from Emily Austin talking about Biden trying to put this at the feet of Bibi when 6 hostages are executed. The opposition takes it as a rallying cry, what happens on October 7th, or if Iran attacks Israel, or if children are murdered in the Golan Heights. Chuck Schumer has the nerve, the gall to stand on the Senate floor calling for regime change in Israel, our nation's greatest ally, while they are fighting for their existence against threats all around. The choice is clear. We know that President Trump's record, Matt Brooks was laying it out. Over 4 years, President Trump was looking for any opportunity not just to fulfill campaign promises, but to go further. Whether it was moving at the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, signing the Taylor Force Act into law, recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal, getting the Abraham Accords into existence, cutting off UNRWA funding, and the list goes on and on. We were strengthening relationships with allies. Adversaries were respecting us. All of our options, all of our instruments of national power were on the table. America was respected again. Israel can rely on us again. And adversaries knew what they were dealing with. There was some scuttle over President Trump at the request of these 13 Gold Star families to visit Arlington Cemetery at the request of these families. And anyone in the media, anyone on the left who has more of a problem, who is taking greater exception with President Trump standing with those families at their request and not having the outrage, the anger with the Biden-Harris administration putting those 13 service members into those caskets in the first place. Shame on all of you. Thank you, President Trump, for standing with those families. That would have never happened on his watch. Russia would have never went to Ukraine. Hamas would have never gone into Israel. We need to make America strong again, to make America safe again. We need all Jewish Americans, we need all American Jews to be unburdened by what has been, to stand with our flag, our freedom, our nation, our liberty, to fight for our future, and yes, to make America great again. 60 days to do it. We have to give it every bit we have, whatever state we come from, blue, purple, or red. We have to go to sleep on November 5th proud that we did everything in our power successfully to save this greatest country in the history of the world. To know our Jewish students are safe, our Jewish families are safe, and America will be prosperous, safe, and free for decades and generations to come. A country worth fighting and dying for, a country worth fighting for these next 60 days. Let's get President Trump elected. Let's put Tom Cotton and his colleagues in the majority. Let's get Mike Johnson a bigger majority, and it's the Republican Jewish Coalition and Matt Brooks and Norm Coleman at the tip of the spear leading that fight for this great country. Thank you all for what you do. God bless you and this great country. God bless you.